I never thought sitting in the audience as you are now that I'd be following Mark Billinghurst and Patty Mays. I don't know what I'm doing up here since I learned everything I know from listening to them. That's the great thing about being a writer, and the great thing about covering this medium at this moment in time is that I get to try everything and meet everyone. I get to be Switzerland. I don't have a product that I'm selling. I just have a world that I'm trying to understand. So that's why I wrote a book, because I started to understand it, and I thought, oh, I could put all this together, and my publisher, Bob Fine, who's here, encouraged me. And he said, well, it'll be easy. You have dozens of columns on Forbes. You can just, put them together. You're more of an editor. You have to sit down and actually write the book. So good thing I'd never written a book before, because if I had known that, I probably wouldn't do it. But this is not a normal book. I mean, the words are great, and it is a normal book, but it also has an invisible layer to it, which I will show you now. Can I get my phone on the screen? Here we go. Okay, I'm opening the Fink Metaverse app. You can do this at home. You just download the Fink Metaverse app and point it at the logo, which is on the website and other places. So I'm going to point this at the...
Which you can judge from its cover. It's full of AR fun like this. So keep your phone handy as you check out what's inside and join me on this journey. Let's dive in. Let's have some fun.
Thanks. You can go back to the slides. Thank you. So it's always fun to have something visual to talk about your book, because books are inherently not visual. So I've been doing this for a while before I started writing about AR and VR. I was a corporate executive, then I was an entrepreneur. I went 2 for 4 on startups. Got tired of doing that. I've been producing Broadway shows, and I started writing about VR and AR. I ran VR for Disney in the 90s. So I kind of went back to it. I started writing about it. A friend of mine was, at that time, the editor-in-chief of Forbes, and here I am. So I've been through a lot of disruption, and probably a lot of you have too, and I was fortunate enough to see a lot of that disruption from the inside. Why do I have a right to write a book? What's my unique point of view? I've learned a few things along the way, and they form the filter through which I view the development of this industry. People are the killer app. When is this going to reach mass adoption by the consumer? When it connects them to other people. Why are we obsessed with our cell phones? Because they connect us to other people. Ironically, as Patty said, they make us more available and less present, but they do connect us to other people. However, imperfectly, that's what drives our usage of these devices. And the other thing that we should all keep in mind is that this is going to happen more slowly than we think, and it's going to be more disruptive and more transformative than we can predict. And the other story, this drives me and gets me up in the morning, is I just think this is a great story. So, as I said, if you want to do this at home even before you get the hardcover book, you can go to the website and do it and amaze your friends. Here's how we made it.
The current version of your book is out of date. Is out of date. Is out of date. Is out of date.
Hey!
The current version of your book is out of date. Is out of date. Is out of date. Is out of date.
Hey!
Oh. Okay. Ah, this is amazing! The dirt and grime is so realistic, it's like our house is really dirty. I can get in every nook and cranny. Extra points for using bleach. Ripley, look! Oh, it's so satisfying to be in a clean living space.
This would be a lot more satisfying if you would just clean our actual house.
No, because then I wouldn't be able to score any points.
Jump out and, okay, grab the broom and here you go. Okay, drop the broom, wax on and wax off on the other side. And here's your line right, yep, good, coming up, and here you go, now.
This is amazing. The dirt and grime is so realistic, it's like our house is really dirty. I can get in every nook and cranny. Extra points
Point
for
for
using
bleach.
bleach. Ripley, look! Oh, it's so satisfying to be in a clean living space.
Here's her line, where is she? Turn around. Yeah. Oh,
No, because then I wouldn't be able to score any points.
don't step forward when you jump out, just come straight, bonk, there you go. Awesome, that was good.
This is so cool. My book is finally in print.
And action. That's it.
I'm like, what did I forget to do?
Wait. Oh, I didn't hear you come in.
What did I do wrong? What I did all things work a lot better when you do it correctly.
He says it's great. So
We need to.
Amazing. I just want you to try.
Hello?
Oh my God, there was a jumping fish.
Hello. Oh. See on the bottom.
Right. Is that adventure?
Long day.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Too bad we weren't recording.
So, Patty and Mark, Patty and Mark may know a lot more than I do, but I brought cartoons, so we're even. I thought I knew the subject when I started writing the book, but I actually learned just as much from writing it, because one thing, of course, is anybody who's written a paper knows is you get to that paragraph and you're like, oh, I don't know this. So you have to go find out about it before you can write about it. And of course, you surface questions as you concentrate on the material. So here are a few things that I learned. Okay, so everything in the world is going to be painted with a digital brush, right? This book has a layer of invisible meaning, but one day, everything will. Reality, as you just saw in the making of video, is impossible to depict in virtual and augmented reality today. It's very complicated to do, as Mark pointed out, volumetric capture. You need an external 3D camera to send it any distance. That signal needs to be compressed on one end and decompressed on the other end. As a result, it's imperfect and there's a lot of digital dust. So it's very reality, photographic reality is the holy grail of virtual reality. But today it's extremely difficult. If you've seen Microsoft's Capture Studio, you know, they had George Takei and other celebrities, but they're all what we call in theater park and bark, right? They've got a little spot and they can't move. So it's gonna be a long time before we have drama and entertainment or even photoreal worlds filled with photoreal avatars where it has to be animated. So reality is a ways off that notion that we can have Westworld and be in another world like ours. As I said, I think this is the greatest business story of all time. The stakes are extremely high. We're talking not only about hundreds of billions of dollars, we're talking about the future of mankind. We're talking about the largest companies in the world competing to control this technology and to understand its meaning. And of course, there's lots of conflict, which means there's lots of drama, and that's very good for writers. So let's talk just a minute about a world painted with data and what that's going to mean. One thing that was really apparent at CES, where I think many of you may have been with me last week and 170,000 of our closest friends, is that a lot of these technologies need each other and they're merging together. And nowhere is that more apparent than with augmented reality. The truth is, as we all know, there are lots of different kinds of augmented reality. I don't agree with Microsoft's assessment that there's some kind of a spectrum. There's no augmented reality that is so augmented it's virtual reality. Although I will say we will have interoperable devices that can do AR or flip a switch and they do VR. That seems obvious. But what kind of AR will it be, right? Because we have Pokemon Go, that's AR. We looked at the sports broadcast and superimposing data over that is AR. I saw some fantastic technology from Kopin and from Vuzix and other companies at CES, and they were essentially planting a TV screen inside of my glasses, which I can look past to work and live, or I can focus on, throwing the world out of focus and making that screen extremely big. And I call it iPhone on your face. I mean, it's Bluetoothing apps that you have open and you're able to move through them using various techniques. So these are all different kinds of AR, but when we really talk about AR, when we're talking about AR at this conference, we are talking about spatial, contextual computing. And the technologies that go into that are complex. And they include, among other things, computer vision, right? The computer, whether it's on your face or somewhere else that you're wearing, needs to know where you are and what data is relevant to that place. So, for example, let's say I live in the fantasy world of textual computing, and these glasses are actually augmented reality glasses. Well, it would give me access to my social graph. I could see through facial recognition where my friends are, my LinkedIn contacts are. It would know I'm in Boston and give me Boston weather. It would tell me where to go eat lunch. So that requires a lot of technology that really has nothing to do with things like optics and field of view and miniaturization. And also we don't have the infrastructure to do that today. It's too much data. Perhaps 5G will solve that. Perhaps another technology will be invented to address it. This is called, and we talked in the book quite a bit about this idea of the AR cloud. What the AR cloud would do is, so let's say, for the sake of argument, for example, this building is painted with data. How would I know that? My computer that I'm wearing would have to know that, and it would have to say to me, hey, you're in the MIT Media Lab. Here's data about it. Here's what they're doing in that lab. And probably because it's the MIT Media Lab, they would have the very best data and the very coolest cloud that I would spontaneously access. But that would mean I had some kind of a browser that could access that, right? Because today, I'd need the Fink metaverse app to do that. I'd need the MIT app to do that. It wouldn't happen instantly. I'd have to go get it. But with AI and computer vision, that will happen automatically, and as Mark suggested, it might also reflect my mood. I'm hungry, I'm tired. It would know what I would, oh, you're tired, there's Starbucks. I'll conclude with where writing the book led me in my thinking about AR. As I said, for AR to really reach its potential and be more than an iWatch on your face, it's got to know you, it's got to know where you are, and there's got to be data there for it to grab. And none of those things really exist yet. I think what we're looking at is 10 years of interim devices, things like the Vuzix and Kopin's product and OGG. I view these as interim devices. I don't think they're mass market consumer devices. I think people will buy them. Kopin has made Solos, which is a really wonderful bike and fitness glasses. I asked a friend of mine, wow, are bikers really going to buy $500 glasses just to get directions? And she goes, oh yeah, my mom is a biker. She has a $5,000 bike. She's going to be the first one in line. So there are a lot of people who are going to buy the Solos, apparently. Infrastructure needs to be built. The lack of infrastructure is invisible to most people, but to us, I think we need to be hyper aware that the things that we're thinking about are only going to happen when advances in technology are made that haven't been made yet. Those inventions and breakthroughs, as I said, include a lot of things specific to the device, but a lot of things outside the device too. So I look forward to learning from all of you over the next couple of days. As I said, this conference was amazing to me last year, and it really shaped a lot of my thinking. I thank you very much for listening to me. We will get you books somehow. We'll figure it out. Thanks a lot.